Saturday, October 24th, 2020. The good news is I made it all the way down to Abilene, Texas. Pretty much a 3-day shot. It was like 1,180 miles or something like that. The bad news is I believe the water pump for the third time went out again. I don't know. It should be any kind of deal. It could be the hose link. Hose and hose clamp somewhere is leaking. I'm not sure, but I ran out of coolant last night. And it looks to be bone dry from what you can see in the radiator and in the reserve tank. I have the money to put back in it to fill it back up, but I'm sitting here thinking if I fill it back up and it's a major leak, it'll just piss right back out. So I'm waiting until tomorrow or the next day when a cold front comes, and I want to be able to go, I believe, further south on the cold front, so that my best option is to wait till it gets cooler outside. Right now it's 68, I'd like it to drop down to like the 40s. To help as I drive along, in case it is something major like the water pump, I'm going to have to just limp it down to San Antonio, which is 230 miles. And by limping it, I mean just pull over every now and then and put coolant in it and let it cool off and do the thing like I was doing a long time ago before the fucking water pump went out. The first time, excuse my language. Just really irritating. The leak, from what I can tell this morning, looks like it's coming right from the water pump area, but it could be just a clamp on the pump. I don't know yet. Until I put coolant in it and pressurize the system with it running and see what it does with it full and whatnot. But I'm not going to do that until tomorrow or the next day when I get out with that cold front. It'd be pointless to do it today and then just let what I put in there leak back out. So I have a minor mechanical breakdown for the moment. I think I'll still be able to make it to San Antonio, Texas, where I might stay for the wintertime around that area. It's big enough. It's a big city. Right now I'm in Abilene. I like the temperature better on the weather map app for San Antonio, though, so I'd like to try to get at least 230 miles further. I'm still looking into trying to do PTI while I'm down here. The gate guard job is clear down in Brownsville, Texas, but I don't know. I don't see it happening now because that's 548 miles away. And I don't see one water pump. Even if I replaced it, I don't see a water pump making it that far. Another 548 miles. I'm hoping it's just a hose clamp or something. Once I get everything pressurized, I can see. But I'm so tired and so done of dealing with this coolant system on this fan. It's just really irritating. I've replaced all the hoses and the hose clamp and the water pump twice now. Everything but the radiator. Replaced the thermostat. I don't know why it just doesn't like coolant. Don't know why. The only other thing I can think of, if it's not coming from down there, would be the valve covers, and if that's the case, she's all but ready to go to the scrapyard anyway. You just wait till it blows up, pretty much, because there's not much you can do. That's a $1,500 repair at least to tear into the top end of the engine and fix everything, and this van is not worth that. On the plus side, if I were to live someplace in Texas for the wintertime in this van, able to live in this van until April of next year, that means I would have spent the entire year living in the van and using the van to go this way and that way for $3,000 for the entire year. That's much cheaper than anybody could have done in rent, period, anywhere. And then plus you have the mechanical vehicle maintenance on top of that for having a vehicle. So altogether, if I'm able to make it to April, this van would have paid for itself for sure once and possibly twice, depending on how much more it cost me to do anything with. But as for living in the van life in terms of traveling 100 miles a day or doing anything like that, this is not the type of van to do it in. This van just has so much rust problems and everything underneath that it's pretty much a stationary van. It works for a decent enough van to live in one place in a city like I did in Miles City or down here, but it does not work for an on-the-road van. It just continuously comes up with problems on the road. Too old of a vehicle. The engine just doesn't like being ran for that many hours. So that's the problem. But the good news about van life is I'm not on an actual schedule. I don't have to be anywhere, so I can hold up and wait here in Abilene for the temperature to drop a little bit more on this cold front that's coming in on, I think it was Tuesday, and then sneak on down to San Antonio. The only thing I want to get accomplished between now and the end of the year, for the most part for me personally, is to be on a beach for my birthday, and I'm probably 500 miles away from a beach. I don't know if that's going to happen now or not, but is what it is. That's my latest update. As for the financial situation, I'm pretty much living on unemployment. Plan on doing so for the rest of the year, just because they made the exceptions on unemployment, so to where you do or do not have to be working. And all of this, they've held all those regulations and the exceptions back because of COVID. And there at the start of this year, it paid you more not to work because of the expanded COVID package thingies that they were doing with unemployment. Now that has technically run out until the lawmakers decide to do something else. But even on the basic unemployment, it ends up being a little more than $100 a week. And living in the van life, as long as I don't move around very much, I mean, free Wi-Fi, technically speaking, free place to rent. Everything comes down to just my food. I have the phone paid up ahead of time. I have car insurance paid up to the end of January. I have the phone paid up until the end of June of next year. And 25 gigabytes of data on the phone every month that rolls over, each month. And other than that, you just go park in places like I'm at Lowe's right now in Abilene, Texas, and using their Wi-Fi to upload this video and then I'm just gonna basically be here and live here. Maybe explore a little bit of Abilene while I'm here. Don't know how much of it I'll get on video or not, but that's my latest update. I did make it to Texas, and I am in better, warmer weather, and financially I'm doing pretty good, and I'm just kind of waiting for the rest of the year. I'm thinking about going back to work for PTI again, but that has to be within this month, I think, to be able to do it without having to reapply. Not for sure. But like I say, I don't really need the income so long as the unemployment income comes along. And I'm just taking advantage of that temporarily because it's there, it's available, they lifted the restrictions. Why not do it, in my opinion? So those people who watch my video don't like the fact that I'm freeloading off the system or whatever. I've paid my dues and paid my taxes when I was young and dumb in my 20s. That's a whole different conversation in itself, but a bunch of these slaves, so to speak, program slaves, need to wake up and realize that this system wants you to be in debt. They want you to have a $100,000 house or a couple $100,000 house, and then a couple $100,000 cars in the driveway, and 40 grand or more in debt and for college education, so that you will be a good little indebted slave for the rest of your life. And me personally, I prefer to be as close to debt free as possible, which hasn't happened lately. And I don't mind living this life as long as the temperature is not miserable. When you get into the van life and you're in the middle of winter in Montana where it's minus 20 degrees and frostbite can literally burn in your throat, in your lungs while you're sleeping, whether you're covered up or not, that's way too dangerous for one thing and just flat out miserable and uncomfortable for me. So that's why I left Montana. But Texas should be a good place for some of the winter. Like and subscribe, leave comments. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.